Fair. All right, let's get straight into it then. Today we are looking at the Africa Cup of Nations, the start of the tournament. It's in just a couple of, in a few hours right now. Just over maybe some 30 hours or so, the AFCON will start. The opening game is tomorrow, 8 p.m. Is the opening game. And we will have live commentary here for you on 99.7 Joy FM. So do stick with us, of course, and we'll bring that to you. The show is live and interactive on social media. Of course, what we'll be talking about, you can send us your thoughts on 05511119997, 05511119997. Also, if you prefer Twitter, you just or X, leave us a message. Use the hashtag game plan, and of course, we will. Your microphone is on, and we will, of course, read those messages for you. We are streaming on X Spaces or Twitter Spaces, if you prefer, as well as on YouTube on the Joe FM handle. We're also live on Hits FM 103.9. Lots of stories around the Africa Cup of Nations so far. It's not good news for Nigeria. They have a second striker who's pulled out injured. Sadiq Umar. He's also gone back to his club after an injury that he sustained in that pre-AFCON tournament game against Guinea. He becomes the second Nigerian striker to be injured and out of the competition. In comes, of course, Paul Onuachu, who's been called in to replace him. He scored 9 goals in the Turkish Super League this season. How much does he help Victor Osimhen? That remains to be seen. Murphy is the other one who came in to replace the injured Victor Boniface. Regarding other news, Gambia have successfully touched down in Cote d'Ivoire after what was a big scare involving their flight. After 9 minutes, when the plane took off, they had to turn around and go back to the Gambia because of cabin decompression. There was no air inside the aircraft. People were suffocating, and they had to go back and then go and sleep in the Gambia again. The next day, they got a different flight, and they're safely in the Gambia. The Gambia, remember, is located right inside of Senegal, and already there's a big war happening on Twitter between the Senegalese and the Gambians, even before that opening game between the two of them on the Tuesday, I believe. So that should be a very exciting one as well. So I think that's pretty much most of the things that are happening. We will go to Cote d'Ivoire and speak to someone that is there to bring you up to speed with what the AFCON fever really is like at the moment. And we'll also be joined by New Adams to preview all of the groups of the AFCON starting tomorrow. But Sitsofe, Philip Atsirim, Daniel Cranting, Muftawu Nabila is also here, Daniel Cranting, as well as Stone Avenue. Guys, once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very much.
Any of you in a bit of an anticipatory mood ahead of the start of the AFCON, or kind of nervous, or what's the feeling?
The atmosphere surrounding the AFCON, usually it dawns on us, especially in the knockout round, where you will see quality football being exhibited. Because this is a stage where many countries are just going out for points, they are very cautious and all that. So at this point, the excitement is a bit low. But when the competition starts, that's when we'll all be immersed into it, and we'll enjoy the competition. It is going to be fun.
Yeah. Stone, every year, Nigeria goes into every competition thinking they must win. Is that the same feeling, or this time around, Nigerians just feel like, you know what, I don't think we have a team. Let's just, because I can tell you about the feeling here in Ghana. Not a lot of people expect the team to actually do well, except myself, of course. But what's the feeling like among Nigerians ahead of this AFCON?
So basically, I can only speak from where, or from the people I know, or from my own space. And from my own space, we're being realistic. We're taking the realistic approach this time. Because, first of all, as we have said many times, we do not have an adequate goalkeeper. We do not. And the thought by many Nigerian fans reminds you of that song that says that only God can do it. Okay, so which is by you have that artist that sang the song Ogaga. But the truth about this is this: when we look critically at it, the defense is average. We do not have a defense that is structured in such a way that we can be able to express ourselves adequately. We don't have that. The midfield without Ndidi cannot be controlled. We don't have a controlled system whereby we can play. The former AFCON, we had this interchanging of tiki taka and all this kind of stuff like that. But right now, the Nigerian midfield, I don't think can create. And then you go to the striking options, and then you have Victor Osimhen up front there, and you're thinking, okay, Victor Boniface can come in and play as a supporting striker and stuff like that. And you're bringing Paul Onach, who is a striker, a natural striker. He cannot pair with Osimhen. He can't. So at the end of the day,
but he can deputize, no?
So you want to
also have Murphy.
So you want to bench Osimhen and bring in Paul.
Play Osimhen, but
play Paul.
No, you don't need to play two strikers, do you?
No, I'm just saying, like, from what I'm seeing, they want to play two strikers. From what I'm seeing, but they might play 4-3-3, which if they do 4-3-3, we're in trouble.
Why?
Okay, because first of all, there is no midfield. When we have played 4-3-3 right now without Ndidi, there is no midfield. The midfield is nowhere to be found. And if we want to play right now, I will believe that we play 3 at the back. Okay, play 3 at the back, 3-4-3. That works better, because in that way you have 2 people right there that can be able to do something. I don't think they were able to control it effectively, but at least they can do something there. But up front, Osimhen, I am praying right now that nothing happens to him. The sickness of injury does not come upon Osimhen. If it comes upon him, I'm not watching one Nigerian match. I will not watch the match.
Is it really that bad? Because Nigeria has lots of attacking players.
Listen.
Because Chukwueze.
Yes.
Iheanacho.
Yes.
Simon.
Osimhen.
Yes.
Moses Simon.
Yes. Please do not mention that. He's a lookman. He looks. That's what he does.
Ademola Lookman.
That's his job, to look. He's lookman. He's looking.
Looking at what? The goal, right? To score.
He's looking at the post and playing the ball over. That is his job. He's a lookman. Okay, but leave that. Look at this guy, Chukwueze.
That's a lot of attacking talent.
Chukwueze reminds me. You know what Chukwueze reminds me of? The opposite of Sterling of the Euros 2021, I think, the Euros, where Sterling was not doing well in his club side, but he was called for the England side, and he was one of the most effective players that took them to the finals.
Yes.
Chukwueze, on the other hand, he's good in his club. In the country, he's not good. How
bad is Chukwueze?
Chukwueze, my grandma will score some goals he misses. My grandma will score it. Chukwueze should not play for Nigeria at the AFCON. Should come in when we're winning 2-0, 3-0. And that's the reality of life.
That's rather harsh. He plays for AC Milan. He's talented.
Fent, do you have any good intention for Nigeria? If you have good intention for Nigeria, I'm telling you right now, Chukwueze on the bench, bring in anybody. Look at this thing. If you watch Chukwueze in Nigeria, he is always dribbling out of the box into the throwing line or the corner kick place. Yes. There is no crosses for Osimhen. So that's the problem right there. Chukwueze is not the right person. If I'm the coach, I'm going to play anybody in that situation to bring in the crosses for Osimhen, because you have Osimhen, who's one of the best strikers in the world. So people say he's top 5. This season you might say, okay, it's not top 5. Boniface is better than him this season based on form. But in terms of crosses into the box, Osimhen doesn't get that. So at the end of the day, Osimhen looks like it looks like he's not a good player on the pitch, but the cross is not coming in because Chukwueze wants to be a hero, which is terrible. And then you have Lookman, who, when he comes into the national team, forgets how to play football.
When he comes in, he's just looking.
He's a Lookman. So I'm being realistic right now. If Nigeria have any hope, we play 3-4-3. We go out there. We do.
Who would be in goal? Let's go through the Nigeria team. Okay, Nigeria is in a very tricky group with Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea. The first game is against.
I already have a lineup I've done, but let me just.
I'm listening.
Let me open it up. So just continue what you were saying.
No, it's okay. No wahala. So I'm saying that Nigeria is in a very tricky group with the host Cote d'Ivoire. Their first game is against Equatorial Guinea.
Yes.
And after that, the second game is against Cote d'Ivoire. Remember that in this AFCON, out of the 6 groups, it's only in 2 groups that 2 teams would qualify to the knockout rounds. The remaining 4 groups, 3 teams will qualify to the knockout rounds. So it almost looks guaranteed that Nigeria would make the knockout stages. At the last AFCON, they were superb in the group stages. Then they got kicked out by Tunisia. That was a very unlikely defeat, but it happened. This time around, you're saying that you think Nigeria will even struggle to make it out of the group, or what's your issue here? Because if they make it out of the group, from then on anything is possible.
So you think that qualifying from the group is success? As a team like Nigeria, a country, if you qualify,
Nigeria, where AFCON tournaments, Nigeria didn't even qualify. Like they won the AFCON in 2013,
yes,
didn't qualify for 2015.
Yeah, but right now, that was a colossal failure. That was a failure from the top to the bottom. That was failure. But now,
I'm saying that not making it out of group is not worse than not qualifying, is it?
With the kind of players we have, let's be realistic. Come on.
Let's go through the team you think.
Yeah. Okay. So this is when you look at the squad list that we have, right, and what we have to offer. You look at the entirety of everything. Now, the goalkeepers we have are Stanley Nwabili.
Please, let's put Uzoho there. You can't. Uzoho is Nigeria.
Blood of Jesus.
Uzoho is Nigeria's #1 goalkeeper, and there's nothing anybody can do about that.
This is just comedy at this point. That's what this is. Everybody knows that our goalkeeper is not good.
All right.
This is comedy, but it's
so
fine.
who's your back 3?
Uzoho. Now. Okay, so the back 3, I'm gonna go basically with Ajayi, right? I'll play Ajayi. I'll play Calvin Bassey, who I believe is the best centre back that Nigeria has. Calvin Bassey,
he's a very good player. Yes,
very good player. Very adept in reading situations. Also, he's a goal threat, but Nigeria does not use him well. There was a time that they were playing him as the left back, which I was just looking at this. I was like, do you know who this guy is? Do you know what he can do? And here we have him playing as the left back, but now he's a centre back. So you play Calvin Bassey, you play Ajayi, and then you bring in Omeru. Yes. Now
the former Chelsea boy.
Yeah. Now the reason you are doing that is not because he's fast, or because we are bringing him in because of #1 brute strength, and #2, experience into the box, and then experience. He can be able to marshal 2 of them and push them to the right direction. So I'm going to have 3 of them play right there.
Then you will have wing backs.
Yes. Now, because
I'm assuming Ola Aina is at the right side.
Definitely.
And on the left side would be.
We're going to on the right side. On the right side we're going to play Aina, and then on the left side we have to go with either we go with Awazim or we go with Zaidu
Zanusi.
Yes. So basically that's the dimension we're going with.
Okay. Midfield 2.
Now the midfield 2 where you don't have Ndidi in that situation. So in that place you're going to play Joe Aribo, and personally I would prefer that we go with Frank Onyeka ahead of Iwobi. I will bring Iwobi as a substitute.
Interesting.
The reason I'm doing that is not because Iwobi is not good, but because Iwobi is an impact player. I don't see Iwobi as a player that can hold the 90 minutes in terms of an AFCON game. Now in the Premier League and all those places, he's good. He can do all this kind of stuff. But at the AFCON, you need strength. Look at when he came on against Tunisia in the last AFCON. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. So I'm going to bring Iwobi for effect. If there's anything happening, I need to score a goal, I need an assist, I need somebody to win the game, I bring Iwobi.
So for you, Joe Aribo and Onyeka.
I'm going to play Joe Aribo.
And the front 3 would be?
Now, my front 3 is where the problem is going to be. Because people are looking at this and saying Chukwueze should play on the right. But because of what I've seen from Chukwueze in the past, I will put him on the bench.
Okay.
Up front is going to be Victor Osimhen. On the left, I have to go with the Lookman. Okay, I have to go with the Lookman. Okay, because Musa does not have legs again to play 90 minutes.
Okay.
Personally, I would have said Musa, but Musa, the legs are not there to go 90 minutes. Maybe we can bring him on later. So the Lookman will play on the left, and then on the right, I'm gonna go with Iheanacho. And the reason I'm playing Iheanacho on the right is this. Iheanacho is a guy that can come in and help Osimhen in the middle. And Ola Aina is very adept in both running for the attack and tracking back. It's almost impossible, but it's possible sometimes, but it's almost impossible to catch him off guard. Because if you watch the match against Arsenal where he marked Saka was out of the game for a long period of the time. So Ola Aina is, to me, he's a dependable guy that can run in for the attack, come back for defense. So as a result of that, he will run that wing like Marcelo used to run in with Cristiano Ronaldo, where Ronaldo enters inside. That's what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing right now. So Ola Aina will run the wing. He can't do that. He has the legs for that. He has the lungs for that. He can run.
You mentioned Ola Aina and Marcelo in the same sentence. I'm
not comparing them. I'm just saying like he has the lungs and he can track back. So Iheanacho goes into the box most of the times to help Osimhen, and he's a good passer of the ball.
For you, do you think that's your AFCON winning team in this Nigeria?
If I play this team, maybe we get to the quarterfinals.
Maybe.
Yes.
Sitcho, listening to him, it looks like Nigeria's problems past one or no.
Well, not necessarily, but they've also
Are
got
you
problems.
sure?
Yeah. Not necessarily. Nigeria know how to score goals. You can score
they know
goals.
but they don't keep clean sheets.
Yeah. But you can't score. You can't keep clean sheets. So not necessarily. Let's not. Yeah, you can't score. You can't keep clean sheets. They can score goals. They have more. I think the attack is more dynamic. Could be more dynamic than ours with some respects. In some respects, but listen. Nigeria's problem has got to do with the fixation on how the team should set up instead of the fixation on how the team should gel. We know the problem that they've got. They've got a goalkeeping problem, which has a ripple effect on the back line. And they've got some very good individuals there. But I've said this before, that when your goalkeeper is not good enough, it doesn't matter how good your defenders are. It creates a certain level of doubt in their minds.
It does.
The freedom with which they would have defended if they had a better goalkeeper behind them, that has a problem now because they are not too confident about who is behind them. And when the goalkeeper is not in good shape, that goalkeeper himself would focus so much on his game that he might not be able to organize the back as he should be. So Nigeria's goalkeeping problem has a ripple effect on the back line. However, yes, if you want to go with the back three, which I think I've also said that Nigeria maybe should look at not playing the 4-4-2 or the 4-3-3 because of the limitations they've got in the middle of the park. And if they go and play the back three system, as he said, the back three could work because and the back three could work for me because in the midfield, then Sanusi, who is very comfortable with the ball and coming into central areas, as well as Ola Aina, provides a certain level of cover in midfield. It doesn't matter who you play for Nigeria. Moses Simon is not a good crosser of the ball.
He won't even cross.
Chukwueze is not a good crosser of the ball.
He won't even cross.
Ademola Lookman is not a great crosser of the ball. And you don't want Iheanacho to be the one crossing the ball. So what that back three and the wing backs would offer you is Ola Aina is about their better crosser of the ball in the teams, about the best crosser of the ball alongside Sanusi. Now if you play them as wing backs, I will still play Chukwueze because he wouldn't have to again necessarily have to be extremely wide. But what he can do is, because his left footed is on the right, his runs can actually take away defenders from that right hand side for Ola Aina to attack those spaces and cross the and the last time Nigeria were at the AFCON, we actually saw it happening. The reason why Ola Aina would go that high up the pitch was because on that width, the winger on that side was not hugging the line. But on Moses Simon's side, Moses Simon was hugging the line. So Sanusi was almost as safe. Nigeria would at times turn into a back three because the two centre backs would be there. Sanusi wouldn't overlap as high as Ola Aina would, and Moses Simon will hug that line. So I think they have to find a system that accommodates their weakness but also brings out the best. And Osimhen is not necessarily a cross kind of striker. You play the ball to his feet, he's a monster. Osimhen doesn't always thrive on service. He can create these things himself. And it's not the static number 9 who's going to wait for the balls to come to him. He himself can be involved in the game. And if Osimhen can be involved in the game, then Moses Simon or Lookman or Chukwueze should be making the runs off him. And I think Nigeria have got their limitations, but they've got something to work with. I don't think they are good enough to win it, but I think they've got something to work with.
All right, interesting. Let's go on to the line now and speak to two other people that have joined us. One has joined us all the way from Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan specifically, and the other one has joined us from Kumasi, New Adams, and John Boafo on the line. Nu, how are you?
I'm very fine, sorry.
I've been told you are here in Accra. You didn't come to the studio.
I'm not in Accra.
Muftawu and Nabila just lied.
You like
lying too much.
Wait. No, where are you? Relax. No, where are you?
It's not in Accra. It doesn't matter.
I'm not in Accra yet, but I'm getting closer to Accra.
That's all. He's
So
not
he's
in
not in
Accra.
Accra.
Stop
He's not in
lying.
He said he's
Why
not
they lie like that? Why they lie?
It don't be lie.
You don't apologize to you, they still they lie.
Stop lying. You apologize.
Shame
to
on
you.
You give fake apology with the talk, they can't
You
defend.
just came back from praying and you are lying to
Can
me.
you
Shame on
imagine?
you.
Can you imagine?
Hey,
What about John? John, are you with us?
Are you in Accra or Abidjan?
No, John is an Abidjan.
This one too, I come
He's
to
not
you.
in
He's not just coming to that. All right. I think John gave us two, so I think he's just set up and then stepped away from his phone a little bit. But Nuhu, because you're on the phone and you're traveling, I want to do this before you leave. Now, look at this. We're talking about Group A here. I don't know how much you heard from the Nigerian in the studio. He almost seems like he's lost a bit of hope in Nigeria. He doesn't think they will do well. Sitsofe says they have problems. I'll ask John Boafo about Cote d'Ivoire. But let's talk about the other teams that you tend to pay attention to, Guinea-Bissau and Equatorial Guinea. Nigeria's first game is against Equatorial Guinea, who came into the AFCON demanding that they be paid 6,000 euros per match, irrespective of the outcome. They're not a team that necessarily does well at the AFCON, but the last one, they caused a bit of an upset. How much should Nigeria be afraid of Equatorial Guinea's impact?
Yeah, Equatorial Guinea is a tricky side, you know. I think they've made only 2 appearances in the African Cup of Nations, or let's say 3, because in 2012 they played as host or co-host with Gabon, and then they hosted after that they couldn't qualify again, and then last edition they qualified. That was the first time they played AFCON outside their country. So for Equatorial Guinea, I think their side you can never underrate or you can underestimate. It's going to be a tricky game for Nigeria because majority of these players are playing outside Africa, and most of the players, I think almost all of them, were born and raised in Europe. So they have that European mentality. They have that temperament to face any side they think they can play against. You look at them in the AFCON and World Cup qualifiers, you realize they don't fear anything. Yes, they were demanding of for 6,000 euros per game or per match, irrespective of the outcome. These are gimmicks. You pay attention to these stories or side shows, and they'll take advantage and beat you when they face you on the field. They have a very good team. Majority of the players who were in the last AFCON are still around. Emilio Insue, who is the captain, is still around. They have Ivan Salvador, who is making a 3rd appearance for Equatorial Guinea at the AFCON. They have a majority of the players. The goalkeeper, Jesus Omono, is also available. They have Carlos Acapo, who plays in the Spanish Primera Liga. They have Saul Koku, who also plays in the La Liga. So you look at this blend of players with up and coming ones, and you realize the team you can never underestimate. You realize, I think the last AFCON we watched them against Cote d'Ivoire. We watched them against countries like Tunisia, and they gave us one of the exciting games at the AFCON in Cameroon. So Equatorial Guinea, yes, they don't have that name on the continent, but on the field of play, they will create a lot of problems for any opponent they face.
Okay, very well. Nu, hold on for me. I'll come to you again. But let me go to John Boafo, who is joining us now. He's joined us from Abidjan. He's looking He's joined us from a football pitch, looking greener than anything I've seen here in Ghana. Peter Chimezi can disagree all he wants, but the truth is that where John Boafo is right now is probably not even an AFCON training pitch, and yet it looks much greener, much better than the Accra Sports Stadium. John, for the purposes of our listeners, where are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Fentuo, thanks for having me on board. I am currently in Songon, which is about an hour away outside of Abidjan, in a site called Ivoire Academy. So it's a football academy that's here, and they have 7 pitches, and I can assure you that all the 7 pitches look like this. So I figured that to put your listeners and also those who are watching by video in the rhythm and in the atmosphere of the AFCON, I figured I'd come to a nice pitch too, so you guys can know what you will be able to look at when you make your way to Côte d'Ivoire for AFCON that starts tomorrow.
All right, very well. So you're at the football academy, like you indicated, just an hour outside of Abidjan. But let's talk about preparation so far in Côte d'Ivoire, what the atmosphere is like. This AFCON should have happened 2 years ago. CAF, of course, took that and gave it to Cameroon. They gave Cameroon's version to Egypt. And Côte d'Ivoire actually went to the Court of Arbitration for Sport to protest about that decision. But now we're being told that, in fact, Côte d'Ivoire are very grateful that the AFCON was moved forward by 2 years, because it's allowed them to prepare much better. From what you've seen, just how ready are Côte d'Ivoire for this AFCON?
I think those last 2 years were really crucial, because I can assure you that a couple of years ago we would not have been ready to host the AFCON. Right now they've refurbished all the stadiums that were already existing, and they also had the time to build the stadium, which is going to host the first match tomorrow. So it's a beautiful stadium with about 60,000 people seated there. I went there for one of the matches recently against Cameroon a couple years ago, and it's a beautiful pitch, it's a beautiful stadium, a modern stadium, and what's they've been able to do in terms of infrastructure in the last couple of years is they've been really able to think about everything, the logistics that goes around having 60,000 people being able to go and sit in the stadium, and everything in terms of the traffic, the security, all that. They've been able to have some friendlies and work on it. So now we're more than ready, and the infrastructures are built, the roads are built, and the security will be top, and tomorrow is going to be a great celebration for the kickoff of AFCON tomorrow.
And Ghana will also be based in Abidjan, obviously, and they'll play in the Hofie Bonnier Stadium. I think that's 40,000 capacity. Everybody always talks about the Ghanaian community in Abidjan. You look at, apart from, let's say, the fans that Ghana might bring and those that would be coming from across the border, what's the nature of the support like for the Black Stars since they arrived there 2 days ago?
So I think most of the public hasn't been able to see the Black Stars so far. They've trained a couple times in one of the 8 training sites that they have in Abidjan. So the organizing committee basically worked on 24 places, 1 per team. So the training areas, and Ghana is in one of the 8 ones which are based in Abidjan. So I don't think there's been that much interaction with the Black Stars, but from the pictures and the videos, and then from having people who also were there when the Black Stars touched down, everyone is really, really excited. I mean, you have seen it firsthand also on X or Twitter. The amount of fervor that has gone around the Black Star touching down, from little things like what they were wearing to the dances that were there. Everyone's really excited about it. Like I was saying the other day, Ghana being the brother or the cousin of Côte d'Ivoire, a lot of people will be supporting Ghana. I've been going around, and a couple of people who know that I'm Ghanaian are saying, they're up for supporting Côte d'Ivoire, and they're also up for supporting Ghana as well. So I think that Ghana, also being in Abidjan, they'll have a lot of support. most of the Guinean community in Cote d'Ivoire are based in Abidjan. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in the Ghana embassy, and they were really excited about the prospect of having the Black Stars come to town as well. So everyone's really excited for the AFCON in general, for Cote d'Ivoire, but also there's going to be a huge support for Ghana as they kick off their AFCON journey on Sunday.
And one of the things that we saw on the timelines, obviously, this is a bit of an on the lighter note. Andre Ayew's wife is being on Ivorian television, whipping up a bit of support for her husband. She's Ivorian, and she was asked what team she'd be supporting. She said she's backing her husband. I mean, what kind of an ambassador is she really? Is that like a big talk there about the fact that she's whipping up support for the Black Star and that kind of thing? Is that a big deal in Ivorian media over there?
No, it's not really a big deal, to be honest. I saw the video that you posted. Canal Plus has a channel that they've made which is just dedicated to AFCON, and that content came on that. But I think that most people also from Cote d'Ivoire or that live in Cote d'Ivoire are also from other countries within the region. So there's a lot of Burkinabés, there's a lot of Senegalese, there's a lot of Guineans. So it's not really, it doesn't come as a shock that an Ivorian will support Ghana. And I personally will also be supporting Ivory Coast because I live here. And then my wife, being married to Ghanaian and being Ivorian, she'll also support Ghana. So I think there's a permutation, and people are just excited that it's going to start. And if the team goes out, maybe they'll find another team to jump on.
John, are you sure? Are you sure you're safe? Are you safe? If you're not safe, you can wink twice.
I'm safe. I'm safe.
Are you safe at home? Were you told to say this or else?
No, I'm safe at home. Currently, my wife is traveling. She's in Namibia. She said that she'll come back for the quarterfinals, and then we'll see what happens then. So hopefully, Ghana will be able to play against Cote d'Ivoire, and then maybe it's going to be a split household, the time of 90 minutes, and then we'll get back, kiss and make up. But worst case scenario, I'll move back and I'll come and live with you, friends.
That's fine. You're always welcome back home. One last thing for you. Cote d'Ivoire hosting the tournament. You interact with Cote d'Ivoire's football people. What are the realistic expectations like on this team? Because no host nation has won the AFCON since Egypt hosted and won it in 2006. What is the genuine, realistic expectation on this Elephants team?
So Ivorians are they're a fun population, and they're fun to be around, and they also they don't really take themselves too seriously. So the majority of the Ivorians expect to not win. In fact, there's a running joke that Ivorians are used to losing. So if we lose, it's good. If we win, we'll all be surprised. So that's the general sentiment in the country. But on a more serious note, the team is a good squad. There were a little bit of controversy around the Zaha not being picked, but that was already preempted a couple weeks before the final list came out. So no one is really surprised that he didn't make that final list. Everyone's really supporting the team. Even Zaha came out and posted a message really supporting the team des Elephants. And I think that the general population would love for Cote d'Ivoire to win, but there's no real expectation or mega pressure for them to win. I think the pressure will come from the team itself and the coaches. They will want to not disappoint the home crowd, but the home crowd will just be happy to see them play well and go as far as possible. My prediction is they will probably end up going into the semifinals and then probably crashing out there. I might be wrong, but that's my prediction for now.
Very well. John, we appreciate your time. Thank you truly for joining us here on Game Plan. We will hopefully on Sunday when the tournament starts tomorrow, and then on Sunday when the Black Stars play, you would be you would be in a match because when Ghana wins, obviously, I'm sure you walk around with Ghana flag wrapped around your head and enjoying the streets of Abidjan. But thank you very much, John Boafo.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's a Ghanaian football scout, lives, works in Cote d'Ivoire. Daniel, you had you had John there about the expectations of Cote d'Ivoire. He says there's not a lot of expectation on the team to actually win from the fans and not putting pressure on them. But you and I have spoken about this Ivorian team, and your feeling is that their team is actually really strong.
Look, they are really strong. For the first time in a long time, I think they have a complete team. They've always looked good on paper, like the Nigerians, but they've over the, especially in the past few years, let me say from maybe the 2017 AFCON till now, their team has always consistently lacked quality in some areas. But this time around, I think it's slowly beginning to come together, and they have that fine blend of youth and experience. You look at the back line, they have some really good names in there, really experienced names in there. Serge Aurier and the likes, experience, he's been there, he's done that. You come to the midfield, and I think that's what has taken shape. The midfield is what has taken shape for the Ivorians. With Seko Fofana, you have Sangari, you have Frank Kessie, you have Jean-Michel Seri. These guys complement each other. In years past, it hasn't necessarily really been complementary in the midfield of Cote d'Ivoire, but this time around it seems like it's coming together, and it's the attack that is very interesting for me. They have a recognized centre forward this time around in Halle. Yes, you might look at his club form and be a bit doubtful, but he's a sort of striker where if you provide the service for him, you certainly put the ball in the back of the net. And they have really good creative guys in and around him. On the wings, you have the likes of Simon Ndingra. You have even Nicolas Pepe, who when he wears a Cote d'Ivoire jersey is a completely different player. So it just shows you the sort of talent they have when they name a 27-man squad and they leave out Wilfred Zaha, who is on form. They can tell you that, look, they don't need him. They really don't need him to provide any spark because they have that quality in their team all around. So for me, look, if there's anything lacking in their team, it's a goalkeeper. That has been problematic even from the last AFCON. But I just feel like, and especially because, you see, this Ivorian team over the years, they've shown that they thrive under pressure. When that expectation is high, they know how to deliver. I'll take you back to the last AFCON when on the last group game they needed to beat Algeria to seal a place in the last 16, and that was their best performance at the competition. They absolutely turned up in that game. You go previous AFCONs, and it's no surprises that they almost consistently make semi-final and final appearances, because this is a team that they know how to live up to the expectation and live up to the big moment. So for me, look, I know we've just had, what is it, 33% of hosts winning the competition. We've not had a host winning the competition since 2006. But for me, the Ivory Coast are my prime favorites for this one, and especially because the rest of the big boys for me are all on the decline. Senegal are on the decline. Morocco, Senegal are on the decline. The core of their team, the spine of their team, they are not the guys they used to be. Mendy is not the goalkeeper he used to be. Koulibaly is not the defender he used to be. You go to the midfield, Ghana. In fact, their midfield has changed as it stands. It's the Lamine, the boy who plays at Metz, the young.
Crepin Diatta?
No.
Because Crepin Diatta is also coming back into the team.
It's Lamine something. I've forgotten his surname, but he plays with the Tottenham Hotspur boy. Sa in the middle of the park. So Ghana Gay comes in and out. Yes, he will obviously give you that seniority and that experience, but Ghana Gay himself is not the player that he used to be. And up front, they don't have a recognized centre forward. They've struggled with that over the years. It looked like Bamba Dieng was slowly getting his foothold on that team. Lamine Camara, yes, Lamine Camara. But Bamba is not the player he used to be. And Charlie, if you are going to the competition and your top striker, not necessarily top striker, but the guy you'll be relying on for goals through the middle is Nicholas Jackson and Charlie Sonwi.
On top of that, Daniel, and that's a fair point. On top of that, the last time they won the AFCON, where was Mendy playing? Chelsea. Where was Koulibaly? Napoli. Where was Mani?
Mani was at Liverpool. Ghana was at PSG.
Where was Abdul Diallo? He was at, I think, Bayern Munich or PSG.
yeah.
Now they've all gone to Saudi. So they've kind of dipped a little bit in terms of the intensity of the leagues they play in. So you do have a valid point when you say that Senegal's team is no longer as strong as it used to be. So for you, Cote d'Ivoire, it is. All right, let's move the conversation on then. I want to... I don't know. Nuhu, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yes. Quick word on Senegal before we move on to Group B. On Cote d'Ivoire, the host nation. Daniel thinks that they are one of his favorites to win the competition, if not his absolute favorites.
Yeah, I will side with Daniel. Of all my previews, I've added Cote d'Ivoire to the favorite to win the tournament. So look at the sort of squad they have, the sort of coach they have at the bench. That's Jean-Louis Gasset. And you watch the recent matches, you realize that they are building a very solid team, especially infusing in the youngsters like Karim Konate, Simon Adingra, and the other players. For Cote d'Ivoire to name a 27-man squad without Zaha should tell you the sort of quality they have in those positions. So I think Ivory Coast have what it takes to win the African Cup of Nations, and they also have the number 12 man. That's the fans. Whether we like it or not, every Ivory Coast match we are expecting a fully packed stadium, and that is always going to have an impact on their play. So clearly, Ivory Coast will come in as a favorite, and as John Waffle predicted, we should expect Ivory Coast in the last four. Yes, to go ahead and win, I think they need to double up effort, but I think they have the quality, they have everything to win AFCON 2023.
Very well, Nuhu. You're listening to Game Plan 99.7 Joy FM, also on Hits 103.9. Show is brought to you, of course, by Patreon. Also, a key reminder that tomorrow night is at 6 p.m. is the Swag Awards, the prestigious and longest running awards event in Ghana. Will be under the distinguished patronage of the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So come, let's celebrate our sports legends like never before with high life sensation Kofi Kinata and Singathon Queen Efua Santua Idonum also performing. The 48th Nguvu Swag Awards is sponsored by Nguvu Mining Limited, Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Goyle Ghana, National Lottery Authority, Stanbic Bank, SES HD Plus, Multi-Guinness, Trillium Industries Limited. And also, of course, remember the Swag Awards comes off Friday, January 12th. Actually, that's tonight. I beg your pardon, not tomorrow. At the Accra International Conference Center. You can contact 0244-280-8024 for sponsorship, tickets, and details. The 48 Swag Awards, another time to celebrate sports excellence, of course. Guys, let's talk about Group B then, because that's where record winners Egypt are, and that's where everybody's favorite Ghana is as well. Then there's Mozambique, and then there is Cape Verde. Gary L. Smith has also joined us here on the show. Gary, you all right?
Yeah. one hour of TV, 1 hour of radio.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of work in terms of previews. Muftawu Nabila is wearing a Ghana jersey, so only natural that I ask him what his confidence level is. You did a whole AFCON preview this morning as well, in your Ghana jersey.
Yeah.
But talk to me about what your own expectations of this team is, really, in this group in particular.
Well, I don't know. I find it very difficult to accept that the Black Stars might not go through this group.
As a third place team, cry, you have doubts.
Okay, look at Cape Verde. Do we have a team of the temperament of Cape Verde? I have my doubts. If we don't get a very good start in this tournament, the psyche level of the boys will drop. And we know them. Since Chris Hughton took over this Black Stars job, the psyche level of the boys is questionable, right? Anytime they concede, they find it extremely their body language alone, and it didn't just start with Chris Houghton. So I feel that Cape Verde is going to be a tough nut to crack, and if they are not able to win that game, then what happened in Cameroon will be rolling all over again. Then there's Egypt. We might win the last group game. We were thinking that we would win the last group game against Comoros about a year ago. Unfortunately, it never happened.
Didn't.
So I do not think these Black Stars could qualify out of the group. I would love to be served a humble pie, because we all want to end that ghost that has tormented every single Ghanaian since 1962. And if there's a group that would be able to do it,
82, you mean?
1982, yes.
You said 62, Charlie. You go back. The thing's already 40. You want to add extra?
We want to add extra 2 years.
And that's since 1962.
Hey,
Wow.
Muftawu.
Since 1982.
Where should you?
So and Gary came up with some of the numbers a couple of weeks ago, and a chunk of the players do not have tournament experience. It could be a plus, it could be a minus. It could be a plus in the sense that these boys would want to write their names in indelible ink. It could also be a minus because you're going into a competition you do not know what to expect. Apart from Andre Ayew, Joran Ayew, Daniel Amartey, who have Richard Ofori, who have played in the AFCON. A chunk of these boys do not know how it feels to play in the tournament. So if they are not able to get someone who is able to drive the team along, and I listened to Osei Kufuor talk about the fact that it was a plus to have Andre Ayew in the team because he's going to be that man who would drive the boys along, because this is a tournament. He is the only player, and he's going to be the third player in the history of the competition to play in 8 different AFCONs, apart from Hassan and then Rigobert Song. So he is well experienced to be able to drive these boys along. But I think that Cape Verde and then Egypt are going to be very, very difficult for the Black Stars. If they have a very good start, then qualification is guaranteed. If they don't, your expectations might be dampened.
Interesting. Sitso, prepare, because I'm going to come and ask you about how you think we should line up for that game on Sunday, because it's critical now to begin to think about how we can get the best out of this team. And Daniel has been doing a lot of scouting of Cape Verde. I want to ask him what he's found. But Gary, from your point of view, what would be our biggest challenge in this group? Because Egypt, Cape Verde, Mozambique, would it be also our boy? Listen, our challenge is plenty. It can't be one.
The problem is plenty. Now you want to make around the
You can look at this Black Star with more weaknesses than.
Let me
than
rephrase the question. If we are to navigate this group, and trust me, it is tricky.
Yes.
If we are to navigate, what would be critical?
It's the same question that you are asking. You are just rephrasing the question.
Yes, I've rephrased it.
He's rephrasing it to emphasize certain things. And the guys are whispering here. You can hear them whispering here.
They are afraid.
No, they are saying that we shall. Because like if we know shall, if we know shall,
this group is so easy.
Like
it's not the easiest though.
It's not. It shouldn't be like,
Okay, Gary.
We should go in with a plan like Cape Verde. We are going to win that one.
Okay.
Because you see,
can we?
The emphasis, and I was saying this on TV a few minutes ago, is that this is a 24-team tournament.
Yes.
Your emphasis is to concede, especially in the group stages, to concede as few goals as possible.
In fact, the benchmark for winning the AFCON is now 3 goals conceded.
3 goals conceded
in 7 matches. If you concede 3 goals in the group stages alone, Chama, Baga.
You see, so
you're not serious like that.
Your heart go cut. You see, so you are building your defense, and then you are making sure that you are being clinical. Cape Verde, and that we can do. You see, if we are able to do, like Muftawu was saying, by the time we meet Egypt is which game?
Our second game, actually.
Second game.
Thursday, I think.
So, Munjai, sir. So you see, the Cape Verde game.
Wait, what is wrong with them?
So you know, your boy is fear.
No, wait, the Thursday is coming.
You know, so the Cape Verde game, it shouldn't be difficult like that, because if you watch the way Cape Verde have played, they are honestly not a great team. Honestly.
Yeah, but they're a dangerous team.
But the way we have played against Comoros safe,
that's what's making you afraid.
That is where the fear is.
So why
we have played
win
against Comoros and Madagascar? That is what, because you see, and the way we even played against Namibia, we played what, 2 holding midfielders against Namibia at home. Oh boga.
And we still didn't dominate like that.
We didn't dominate like that. And Cote d'Ivoire is home. You see, so
It has to be.
it has to be.
Prosper is on record to have said the weather will favor us. He wanted to go to South Africa.
Very true.
You see, so my challenges are that I have a couple of challenges. 1, how we set up. 2, Chris shooting is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I believe strongly that if we have a decent coach, I say Muftawu, I say Fatao, Fentuo. Look,
Blasters make it
to-
conf.
you
Blasters make it conf.
Fentuo, you went to Muftawu, went to Fatao.
so that's my challenge.
Fool.
My biggest problem with the team is actually Chris shooting.
Interesting. I'm gonna ask. That's why I've asked Sicho to prepare.
Yeah,
Chris Hughton, Sicho.
because we don't have a bad squad. Though.
Yes. You know, before I come to Sicho, actually, let me ask Daniel. You told me yesterday how much you've been watching Cape Verde. How much have you been watching them?
Charlie, I do scouts in the whole week.
You book pen and paper.
The whole week. What was it Real Madrid played? Was it Wednesday?
Yes.
So Wednesday around like 9 something, I was watching the Cape Verde. I was like,
There's something else happening somewhere.
this afternoon I saw somewhere Real Madrid are supposed to be playing a game. What's going on? Then first I went on Twitter, I went to check. I was like, it's true, Real Madrid are actually playing a game.
You were too
I went to check. Charlie, I went to check. It was 3-3. I said, wow. Then I saw your tweet that Liverpool to their press. I said, Liverpool to is playing.
Cape Verde, you're amazing, Cape Verde.
When AFCON is coming,
Yeah.
see these blasters, I love them too much.
This Danny there has a blasters
So
problem.
what dangers do Cape Verde
Pose.
pose to our team? That's
Look,
the question.
They are very dangerous on the wide areas.
Okay.
Very, very dangerous. Their captain, left-footed guy, Mendes,
Yes.
and then Bibi. Those guys are very dangerous. And you see, it will be dangerous if we set up in a certain way. And I think Sitso, so I'll lay the foundation for Sitso to continue.
Exactly.
Thank
It
you
will
for
be
the feedback.
dangerous. Thank you. It will be very dangerous if we set up in a back 4, because that will help them isolate our fullbacks. And on a one-on-one, Bebe is taking on Gideon Mensah all day. He has that trickery in his bag. He can make things happen. On the other side to Mendes, and you see, especially for Mendes, he has that ability to drop and as in drift into the box, and he's very dangerous on the ball. He won't score a lot, and when you look at the profile of games, the number of games he's played, the goals he scored, he doesn't score a lot, but he has this knack of scoring very important goals. And a goal against Ghana at an AFCON is a very important goal. He has that, his reading of the box. If you look at his movement, when you look at the games he's played and you watch him in particular, you can tell that he can cause a lot of problems for the Black Stars. But what I was looking at, what I usually do when I'm looking at opposition teams, is looking at where we can hit them.
That's right.
And in as much as they're a very dangerous team on the counter-attack, they seem to have this very high line. So they are not your low block counter sort of team.
They won't sit back.
They won't sit back. They try to force you to make mistakes, and in transition they are very dangerous. And with the pace we have up front, I think we can worry. If we can get those balls in behind, it can worry. Look, Iñaki is there, Kudus is there. They can capitalize on that. And for me, the most telling weakness that this Cape Verde team has is from wide areas, from crosses. They conceded quite a number of goals from crosses in their qualifying games.
Okay.
So I have the Charlie. All right.
You have the scouting report.
When Daniel picks his phone.
Look, the 2 goals away against Burkina Faso, they lost 2-0. Both goals came from crosses. Then you remember Togo did a comeback win against them. Yeah, they took a 2-0 lead. Togo did a comeback win against them. Togo's 3rd goal also came from a cross. The first goal they conceded against Central African Republic was a cross. Then you go back to the end of 2021, the 2 goals home and away that they conceded against Nigeria were also from crosses. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 games they've played. 8 competitive games they've played from the end of 2021 up until now. That's qualifying games, not friendlies. So AFCON qualifiers and then World Cup qualifiers, and that is 6 goals they are conceding from crosses. So it shows you, and there's a variety of crosses. They are not necessarily high crosses or low crosses. They seem
these
to
are not like headers,
not necessarily headers.
conceding.
Yeah, but when the ball is coming from wide areas, they struggle to
deal with that.
So if we can get, and I think that's, so I've laid the foundation. I've gone against fullback in terms of our defending, how we can isolate our fullbacks, and then also getting quality from the wide areas, quality balls from the wide areas. If we can, be it our fullbacks or our wide men can get in some really quality balls into the box, I think we can hit them.
Actually, I'm going to ask you. I'll ask Sitsofe how he would set up. But for you, from what you've seen, how do you think we should line up?
Oh, I hinted it last week. For me, the basics. Look, we have a serious problem when it comes to our defense, and Chris Hughton is trying to solve that with 2 defensive midfielders. That won't work. It has showed us it's counterproductive because we don't create anything. We still end up conceding goals. We're a bit too open. For the Black Stars, we see them very compact in the 3-back, and we're talking about the instances when they've used it. I saw some tweets out there during the week talking about the matches where the Black Stars used. It was a very smart way of putting it. So the person said we used a 3-back against Brazil, we considered 3 goals. That is very false because we used it in the second half.
It doesn't tell the full story.
So the instances where we've used it, the scenarios where we've used it, we've looked very compact against Portugal up until Salisu conceded a penalty. We're using a 3-back. The changes came in and we changed our shape. We've looked very compact in the 3-back, and we have 3 very good centre backs who complement themselves in that 3-back. Salisu, Jigu, and then Amati. You go with that. For the wing backs, and I think that's where most people have a problem with the wing backs, especially on the right hand side, because Tariq Lamptey is in there. But Schindler is very used to that position. He's a natural right winger. He's played a right wing back. In fact, what he's not used to is playing as a right back, a traditional right back. So if you are going to go 3-back, I think Schindler will do that job and do a brilliant day. Even Dennis Odoi can do a job at wing back. Gideon Mensah Street is playing as a left wing back.
The midfield is the problematic area.
Yeah, the midfield too. I'll go with Baba and Baba Idrisu and then Majid Ashimero.
No Salis?
No Salis, because you see, in as much as I'm not choosing personnel,
he's choosing functions.
Yes, profiles. Profiles. Players who, when you look at them, you just know they can work together.
So, in your opinion, Baba and Ashimero works?
It works. It works perfectly.
Better than Salis and Ashimero, for example.
Better than Salis and Ashimero. Better than Pate and Baba. Better. They don't operate in the same zones. They are very complementary. Baba will sit deep. He will tidy up. He keeps it safe. Very safe passing. Ashimero likes to operate from the middle areas, entering into the final third. That's where he can be more adventurous. That's when, and you see, when he looks back and he has that cover of Baba, he's free to do what he wants to do. And of course, the back 3 also gives you that defensive solidity.
So who are your front 3?
The front 3, you know me. Jordan Ayew first, Iñaki, and then Kudus.
Thank you.
Close to it. No, not on the wings. Jordan and Kudus very close in, because we have wing backs who give us the width. So they are close in to Iñaki. You see, the 3 of them, when you look at it, rotate, they'll be very comfortable playing in each position. So those combinations will work, and it will make us a bit more offensive and exciting and get more goals. Because Charlie, against Cape Verde and Mozambique, you have to win.
The only problem with what you are saying,
Mr. Houghton,
on fact,
Sitso, building on Daniel's point, what changes would you make to that team?
None.
Really? You think Coach Daniel Cranting has Coach Decay?
No, I think he said.
How did Decay?
He said exactly what the same, and basically the reasons why I would have given for choosing the back three and everything, and the way the front will line up and everything. So I don't think I'd make any change.
Will Heaton do it?
Well, if he does this, I'll be surprised. No, that's not because he's not capable. That's because
he's not capable. You just don't think he would. He's not
showing that.
The reason why I'll be surprised is because he has not tried it.
Yeah.
Since he became the Black Stars coach.
That is true.
And when he had the opportunity of trying the team, against Namibia and Kumasi, he still didn't try it. So I'll be surprised. I think it's the best way to go, but I'll be surprised if on match day 1 he tries something we've not seen him try at any competitive level before.
What is he most likely to do?
He's more likely to go with the back 4. Perhaps he's going to pick Salisu and Amate. Jiku might not start. Alidu Seidu will play because he likes to play safe. Gideon Mensah obviously will be his preferred left back. It's likely to go into the middle of the park with Elijah Owusu and then Salis and Baba Idrisu.
Yeah.
He's likely to play Mohamed Kudus as a number 10. He's likely to play
Jordan White
as a winger, and Iñaki as a winger, and maybe Semenyo down the middle, or Pencil as a winger, Iñaki down the middle, and Semenyo coming off the bench. I think that is based on his track record with the team,
of course,
and the consistency with which he's picked. I think it's more likely to go with this, which in my opinion would give us a lot of problems.
I think the one thing that I know he will do for sure is that in that back, if he's playing a back 4, he's definitely benching Salisu.
What about his goalkeeper? Who should be his goalkeeper?
I think that is pretty clear.
Who?
Why do you think he's benching Salisu?
I think he's benching Salisu because he's just more comfortable with those two.
He's only had them. I think the only he's not had Jiku. He's not necessarily had Salisu in the period.
In fact,
no, he's not. But when Jiku has come,
he's not had Salisu yet.
He's not had Salisu.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
When he's had him, like you said, he had another a big opportunity to do that, to play him against Namibia. He brought him up. He brought him in deep into the second half.
I agree. So you could go with Amate and then.
Yeah. I feel like he's probably
which
more
for
comfortable.
me,
but I also think,
in truth, is a better back 2 combination than Salisu and anyone else.
In terms of the profiles, isn't it?
In terms of the profile and where because. On top of your mind, not on paper, but on top of your mind, you are thinking that Jiku and Salisu is a fit because they are both young.
Who plays on the left, who plays on the right?
But Jiku absolutely likes playing in the position where Salisu thrives,
which is on the left side of centre back.
So the only one right-sided centre back we've got in the team is Nicholas Opoku and Amate. But Amate, of course, is always going to be preferred over Opoku. So and when, to be fair again, when you play the back 2. And it's looked a bit solid. It's been between Jiku on the left and Amate on the right. He hasn't involved Salisu and either of those.
Interesting.
But friends, you made a statement that the goalkeeping is quite obvious. I think, look, that is a problem.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem that you are about to state is with the fact that it's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's
who would you have imposed?
Look,
Ofori just started the games against Central African Republic and Comoros. He was out completely. It was Lawrence Atizigi who was always imposed, and all of a sudden we have Ofori and then Wolako back into the team. So I do not think it's that straightforward for the goalkeeping position.
I think when I look at everything, it appears to me he absolutely prefers Ofori.
Listen, if Chris makes,
I wish I could say
if Chris makes
some of the
5,
things that happened behind the scenes,
if Chris makes more than 4 changes to the team that played Namibia, I'll be stunned.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
No. What? If Chris makes more than 4 changes to the team that played Namibia, I'll be stunned. I think Collins Dafa is out for Kudus.
Then we are in problem.
Right?
But if Kudus fit to start?
Of course he's
no, if Kudus is available and fit.
Some of the rumors I've heard are not too clear.
Every other person perhaps keeps his position. And
don't
maybe
do that.
No, I'm saying no.
Charlie, don't do that.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
Charlie, don't give me Charlie.
Okay, guys. Calm down.
My problem with the goalkeeping is
Yes.
the 2 centre backs and the goalkeeper, they thrive on relationships.
True.
Over the past, let me say since 2021, since Milo, that's when we started seeing Jiku and Amate. Those 2 have been able to build a relationship. When it was Jiku and Amate, it was Wolako in post. Post AFCON, the disaster in Cameroon, going into the World Cup qualifiers, the 2 Nigeria games, it was Wolako.
Yes.
Getting to the World Cup, they took him out. Atizigi came in.
No, he got injured.
He got injured.
Yes.
Atizigi came in. Atizigi has been in post from then up until I think the second Central African Republic game. When he came out of his post and Ampam. Then this guy has come in. Ofori has come in. We are chopping and changing too much. And you see, you chop and change when either the guy who is in post hits some very, very poor form, or the options are way better. And if that is not the case, you don't change. Because look at all the top teams in the world, especially the goalkeeping position. You don't do it like that because you see the goalkeeper is the first line of organization. He sees the back line. So if he's slowly building that relationship, so if it is Wolacott and then it's Amate and Jiku, and they are beginning to get that understanding, and you change it, and now Amate and Jiku are beginning to get their understanding with Atizigi, and then you change it, and now everybody is assuming that Ofori has been in the team. Ofori has been in the team for long, but he's not been playing with Jiku and Amate. So those three is now a very different combination.
Can I ask you this though? Because you made a very great point about goalkeeper being the first line of organization. Amongst those three, who do you think is a better organizer, more vocal in organizing that back line? Would that
Which
be the
three?
reason?
Which three?
The three goalkeepers.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about so among the three goalkeepers, Wolacott, Atizigi, and then Ofori.
Yeah.
Amongst them, who do you think is a better organizer? I think I'll lean towards Ofori a bit.
I'll lean towards Ofori.
Would that be the reason why maybe he's being favored now he's fit?
I'll lean towards Ofori, but I think Atizigi in the, if we are comparing the three during the period, I think Atizigi has done way better, and especially in terms of our build-up. You see, we tend to be very wasteful with the ball, with our goalkeepers. Wolacott,
When Ofori plays in particular.
if you even saw the friendly against Nami, I'm not confident.
Shall I see some training?
Forget that. That's where I was going.
Some training video.
Anyway,
The boys saw the people. They can't touch the ball.
So then you prefer Ati.
Oh wow.
No, you see, you guys, you might find what Sitsofe is saying funny.
No, it's not.
But if you
I
watch
saw
the
video.
Namibia game, there was evidence in the Namibia game where he simple control. And you see those things there. Don't underestimate 2024 scouting. No, it will shock you that these teams have told their forward players
To trigger
when they pass the ball to the
trigger the
goalkeeper.
goal. Is a mistake waiting to happen. Look, we've seen these things.
Yeah.
So you can't play with some of these small details, especially at a competition like the AFCON. So for me, and you see, it's not like Ofori is playing consistently and he's in some top form and we can put off. The guy is.
He only plays at the Blasters, actually.
Charlie,
Club
he's
level, he
so
doesn't
you.
play. Anyway, you're listening to
You
Game
know-
Plan
you know
on
the joke?
99.7 Joe FM.
You know the joke.
There's a joke.
The South African joke.
What is it?
Orlando Pirates #1 goalkeeper did not make it to the AFCON squad at all. The goalkeeper they are not to use is Ghana's #1.
That's right. Interesting. That's a big joke.
No, but it's a serious joke.
Yeah, it is. This
It's a
is
serious joke. The #1 goalkeeper at Orlando Pirates
you did hear the laugh,
did not
Niger.
make the South Africa squad. But
The
the
one they don't
keeper
use
who is the backup is our #1 goalkeeper.
Deputy
Yeah.
Capito Pocho.
This is Hits 103.9 FM, Joe at 99.7 FM. You're listening to Game Plan. It's 38 minutes after 2 p.m. We're going all the way till 3. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll go through the list of the other favorites. In Ghana's group in particular, Egypt. What kind of threat does Mohamed Salah and his team bring to this AFCON? What about Cameroon with all the chaos happening around them? And then, of course, we also look at Senegal as well as Morocco. All of that to come here. Still on the show. Sponsored, of course, by Petrosol.
Amonfwe! And you're normally a dofo. Electroland Ghana Limited has done it again. Oh. It's the up to 70% discount bazaar. A simple prize. From the 27th to the 29th of January, rush to Electroland's Vintage branch for amazing deals on your favorite Samsung, NASCO, Media, TCL, and Homeland of up to 70% off. You heard it here, up to 70%. It may be brand new, slightly used, have minor dents and scratches or repaired. We're first come first serve. For further inquiries, call 0503 153 739. Terms and conditions apply.
Be part of the moments to remember with AFCON 2023 on DSTV. Experience Africa's biggest football tournament with all 52 thrilling games live and in HD the way you like it. Enjoy expert commentary that will blow your mind.
It's a gorgeous finish. Super goal.
And the finest analysis to keep you in the game. Live your pride, passion and love for Africa's beautiful game from the 13th of Jan to the 11th of Feb on Supersport or anywhere on DSTV Stream.
Joy 99.7.
Game plan on 99.7 Joe FM, hits 103.9 FM. My name is Fentuo, Tahiru Fentuo. Gary L. Smith, Sitsofe, Philip Atsirim, Daniel Krantz, Muftawu, Nabila, Abdullah. I'm a guest in studio today for this show. We're previewing the start of the Africa Cup of Nations, which gets underway. 52 matches starting tomorrow, 8 p.m. Senegal against Equatorial Guinea. Is our Guinea-Bissau, beg your pardon, is our opening game, and then of course Equatorial Guinea will then take on Nigeria. On Sunday there's Egypt up against Mozambique. Ghana will face Cape Verde. Cameroon also up, of course, against the Gambia. In fact, Senegal playing against the Gambia, and then Cameroon are playing against Guinea. So those are very, very tough matches indeed. And Senegal, of course, Cameroon, Gambia, and Guinea, all in Group C. Let's go through some of the favorites we've spoken about. Yes.
Before you go to the games,
I'm listening.
Whatever happens, Ghana will represent at the final.
Thank you. Finally.
But it might not be the Black Stars.
What are you talking about?
Because whatever happens, George Adu Jr. will be in English commentary at the AFCON, and he will be waving the Ghana flag high because he will be leading English commentary for the broadcasters. New World TV. George Adu, he's poor.
You see, champ.
He's poor. So yeah, Ghana will be at the World Cup.
I hope that the free people will pick that audio.
Oh yeah, so
they have to.
What it is that so you know there's the feed you are getting is going to be from them. So if you are GTV or Super Sports, who now have the rights, you are going to pick that comment.
If you don't pick, then you take your commentators there.
There. So that's it.
No, can they? We don't know if they're not even sub-licensed. If you are sub-licensed, you shouldn't take your. They shouldn't allow you to take your commentator.
But the rights to aside that.
You can put your own commentator.
In fact, they'll even give you a booth in the stadium.
So
if they give you a booth in the stadium, and you want to go around comment, you go there.
You have the budget for it.
No, but to cut costs, they will take George's.
They have to.
If you have money, what are you going to do?
If you have George Ado,
Why do you need? What do you need? Who do you
Why
need?
exactly?
You
I just said no.
You won't get a better commentator.
Unless you want to do Eve.
Yes,
then you take Sitso.
Ghana, did you a passport?
This is the first time I've heard ever commentary in my entire life. Ever.
But actually, New World will be doing six African.
Yes.
Ever
being one of them.
Ever. Yes.
Bambali.
They have to do Ever. Ever Bambali.
Some other languages.
Chino dey inside.
Who?
Chino dey inside.
No, it's not in that.
The World Cup. I told you. After match day 2, I stopped watching in English commentary.
Correct.
True commentary.
Are you copy stone? Copy stone.
You go laugh. See, they score Ghana about the laugh.
I see 84. As I say, I call it bet.
Charlie, the leeway that the leeway that if you say 1% of the things they say in the Chi commentary, you get fired.
You will lose your job.
In English, you get fired.
I say the Brazil South Korea game.
Yes.
When Paqueta scored the 4th goal, he was dancing.
Yes.
So they scored a goal. He just gone quiet. Then he started. See, at the floor.
Oh my God,
Charlie.
Oh my God.
So it's an AFCON. It's a week of good news that's coming to Joy Sports as well. So look forward to some more.
We have commentary on radio. We have the opening game. We'll have semi-final. We have the final. We don't have all the matches, but we have some games.
But will you not have all the Ghana games?
Relax.
Relax. Calm down.
Chairman, it will be some question. Relax. That's it. We are still working on it.
I'm asking for the
people say the amount of dollars they want us to pay.
I don't want to pay.
We want to pay, but you see, you have to check your pocket. Please, even Super Sport, they didn't have the money.
Have you heard that they say they are putting
Daniel say that anyway.
VAT on electricity? So
Fent is not saying that.
So the money that we are going to use to pay for the commentary, now we have to use it multimedia. We have to use it to pay VAT.
Daniel said I'm not
saying
that.
VAT on electricity.
You
don't know.
Fent and Gary are not saying that.
Daniel say it.
What should we say?
Is it tax
multimedia? The money is there. We want to give it to the people. But you see, when you are giving, there has to be a receiver.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
If I'm giving you something, you don't want to collect it.
That's it.
That one is not me.
What can
So we are giving it to them.
Yes.
So pray that they will collect it.
Yes.
Pray that they will collect, because we know that you listening.
We know what we are giving them.
You want to listen and watch from us.
Yes.
So pray that they will collect the thing. Because it's not like we don't have.
No, we have.
Only day we are giving it to them.
We are offering,
but they don't want to receive it.
But you
so
see,
it's a two-way thing.
Is that no? You are 100% correct. You are 100% correct.
So you had this information. You own an
brother, relax. Brother, relax. The people, they are fighting some fights that they will not win. They have started some fight in some place.
This morning we went to church. You think we are joking? You think we are joking?
Let's do it again.
MGL. Let's go through the favorites. We'll begin with. I'll give everybody one team. Gary.
Yeah.
Egypt.
Gary, he doesn't like Egypt though.
No, because
it's not about what he likes.
Egypt are a problem. Because
problem.
Yeah.
Are they favorites?
Yes, of course they are favorites. They're a tournament team.
True.
That's the problem with Egypt. You see, the historical depth that they bring to tournaments is the problem. So even if you don't trust the coach, you understand. Football now, they understand the football. So sometimes they are able to mold the coach to go the way they are. You've seen them in the last Falcon. They went to the final the last time.
Yes.
When they hosted at home, we saw how far they went.
Yeah, they've been in 2 finals in the last 3 editions.
In the last 2 editions. Yeah. And the thing about Egypt is that, you see, it is not just Mo Salah. They have a proper decent team.
They have a good spine.
Yes, they have
the
a
two
good
best
spine.
goalkeepers in African football.
So it's not a problem. In defense, they have a very solid defense.
Hegazi is there.
Yes.
Amdufati is there.
Thank you very much. So they have that experience. And that's what I was saying about Ghana. That if in the group, you want to concede as few goals as possible. And that is what Egypt will likely do.
Yeah.
And from there,
yes.
Now, I'm talking about the path. You've given me Egypt. So let's look at their path. If Group C, this group, we are in Group what?
B.
If Egypt finish first, who are they going to face? Group A.
That's right.
Right?
Group A has Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria. They meet any of those teams, they'll deal with them.
It would also depend on how the third best place teams finish.
That is true.
So they are likely to meet one of them as well, which
that is true.
At times can be an easier.
So I was doing the permutation. Charlie, me too. I didn't know Liverpool and things were playing some one day. I was doing AFCON. So I was doing some plating mathematics and stuff. So when I looked at the pathways, then suddenly, so I told Muftawu on Joy Prime this morning that if I take this, I have 6 contenders. And to have 6 to 7 to 8 contenders in a 24-team tournament is very interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By the time I finished working the mathematics, South Africa was one of my top 5 contenders.
Really?
Because of the
pathway.
Because of the pathway.
To define.
You understand?
Also counts in the tournament.
Yes.
Malam Gary.
Yeah.
How is our pathway?
That's why I said I was worried.
So wherever we pass, we are
because the same place Egypt can pass is where we will pass. But then it comes down to the coaching and the personnel.
Yeah.
I know that if we go and lose some match and we finish 3rd, we can't go and pass on corner and win.
At the talk
Ghana people.
You see,
maybe so Portugal take top Euros.
Yes, but you see that is the thing.
Don't know.
You see, for the listeners, you see that is the thing. That's why I said my problem is creating because if I look at the permutations and where we will pass, it's doable. But if let's say he go put the players in the right place, make they play the ball. That be me my problem. So if I look at Egypt and the way they've played in the qualifiers, they are not a spectacular team, but they are doing their job.
Efficient.
They are efficient. They are not. you know, they have 1 or 2 dribble sentences, but they are playing the ball correct.
Yeah, and they play.
I see them as contenders as well.
Interesting, and they have one of the best trio in on the continent right now. Attacking trio: Mohamed Salah,
Yes.
Umar Mamouche, and Trezeguet.
Yes.
Of course, those three
And
coming
how
after.
many AFCONs have those ones played?
Quite
And
a
how
lot.
many semis and finals have they gone to?
A
But
lot.
you last year benching Mustafa Mohammed with your man.
No, Mustafa. I
What
was
don't
just
you
going to
use
say. Hold on. I was just going to say. There's Mustafa Mohammed.
You see?
So I was going to say, and there's Mustafa Mohammed.
I'll not be surprised if they bench Mamouche.
No, I won't be surprised. But he's in top form for Eintracht Frankfurt. I
No,
watched
they
him
don't care.
again.
But me, the
How?
Ghana versus Egypt match on Thursday, I won't watch.
Yeah.
I
Daniel.
won't watch.
Why?
No, no,
Otodo say it will be.
I'll
it
wait.
will
I'll
be
wait for
easiest
the.
game.
I'll wait for the score.
Daniel, talk to me about Group C's opponents. Cameroon, Senegal. I mean, we talked. Okay, fine. I think we've talked about Senegal already. Talk about Cameroon. Is there a chance because they said what's that record that in West Africa Cameroon has been to 5 AFCONs in West Africa and they've won every single one. They've been to every final. And then, in fact, they only lost one final, the one in Ghana. Yes,
And then they
in
won-
Nigeria they won.
And the one
in-
who hosted 2020, why didn't they reach final?
Oh, that's another. Oh, that's another one. But 7 AFCONs in West Africa, they've won 5.
No, but that's serious.
That's serious.
Look, Cameroon is a tournament team. They are just like Egypt. They're a tournament team, and they are one of those teams that you don't look at what has happened during camping. You don't look at recent form.
The chaos doesn't
matter.
affect them.
It doesn't matter at all. No, seriously, Cameroon and Egypt, you don't use common sense to judge them when you are entering competitions, because they just know how to turn up. And honestly enough, if you go back to the lead up to the 2022 World Cup, they were not on good form.
No,
They beat was it Algeria?
Yeah.
It was a shock.
it was.
It was a huge shock.
They said they don't bribe people. You forgot to.
They left it extremely late, and we all thought they would be one of the worst performing African teams at the World Cup. But they went out. Was it goal difference that took them out of the competition?
And they beat Brazil.
Yeah, they beat Brazil. They had
First
4
African
points.
team
They had
to do
4
that.
points, and that was really close. 3-3 against, I think, was Serbia. They beat Brazil, and they narrowly lost against Switzerland in a game where they created very good opportunities. So look, when it comes to tournaments, Cameroon know how to turn up. They know how to play it, and it doesn't necessarily depend on the personnel and the names, the big names in the team. They have a really decent squad. I'm a bit concerned about the coaching, but again, it is Cameroon. I'm a bit concerned about the fact that Mbeumo is not part, because he was a huge part of their qualification run. But it is Cameroon again. As for Nana, if he's catching, if not catching, it doesn't. In fact, it makes more of a difference if he's not in the post, because he will help them keep more clean sheets when he's away from the team. So,
And for me, it's less of a distraction.
yeah, I don't think he should just say he won't come, so that they know that.
Passy is not bad though.
So that they know that they are. Yeah, he was now imposed their 2 games in the World Cup, and he did pretty good. So for me, look, this Cameroonian team is top. Will they win the competition? I don't think so, because I really look. I've not looked at Gary's path, but I think if I look at Gary's path, it will confirm the fact that Cote d'Ivoire will win this thing for me. But Cameroon will be there and there. But actually, I realize that's serious.
Interesting. I want to give Sitso the world's favorite team, Morocco.
Yeah, true.
Every foreign media outlet says Morocco are favorites to win the competition. Is that gonna happen? They haven't won the AFCON since '76.
Yeah. They are one of the favorites, right? You can't put that past them. But Morocco then would have to be careful, and they don't have to take the bait that everybody's pushing to them. The reason why people claim they are the overwhelming favorites, or the first candidate, if you like, is because of their heroics, I should say, at the World Cup, reaching the semi-final, the first African thing, beating Spain, beating Portugal from that group in which they were a very difficult one. However, they played that World Cup and played every single game as underdogs. So they would sit back, soak the pressure, hit teams on the counter, and teams were desperate to break them down. On the African continent, Morocco can't pretend to be underdogs. They are the team that people expect them to go after the other team. So you wonder if that shift in psychology, they can deal with it properly. I still think they've got some talent to do that. The only problem I have with that Moroccan team is when teams sit deep against them, they don't have attackers who are great in tight spaces. El-Nassiri is not great with his feet to begin with. He's not going to work it out in tight spaces. I don't think Hakim Ziyech is
not quick enough.
It's not quick enough, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter who they play in those attacking areas, but they just can't open up teams that are very defensive against them. And we saw them in the last AFCON. I thought against Egypt, I think
Egypt frustrated
all
them.
Egypt did was to sit back against them, frustrate, get under their skins, and make them complain and take their eye off the ball. And I have a feeling that lots of other African teams, knowing that Morocco are talented and I've got some good footballers, are going to sit back against them and ask Morocco to break them down. It's where I think it will be their undoing.
I'll stick with you and ask you, or should I give this to Gary? Algeria.
Gary.
How have they transformed from the shock of the last AFCON when they got kicked out in the group stages? It was 31 matches on 35 unbeaten, heading into the AFCON. It was a world record lead, and then
so they were aiming for the world record, which was 37.
Yes,
from Italy,
and then it all fell apart.
Yes, it's been identified as one of the big reasons why they failed at the AFCON, because the mentality seeped into the team.
Oh, they were so obsessed with the record.
Yes.
Oh,
it's a big deal. It was one key reason why Belmadi was not sacked and all that, because the entire nation was caught in that
euphoria.
So instead of focusing on each AFCON match so that we are come to beat you and go, they were even content with a draw. So if you go and watch all their matches at the last AFCON, they inexplicably were reticent. They were a bit
hesitant.
They were a bit hesitant.
After 70 minutes, if they are still drawing,
then they are okay.
Yeah.
Instead of chasing the win,
they don't go lose.
You see that thing. So there was that. Then there was the small matter of from 2019, and we are all guilty of that in our individual lives and at the team level as well. Something works for you this time, it works for you another time. You can clearly see that it's time to change and refresh. But sentiment.
Yeah.
So they kept some sentimental players in there whose legs were either gone or who needed new blood in there or had become too predictable, and they didn't, because this guy was part of the AFCON winning squad, so let's keep him there. So teams found out who those players were and they were able to turn them over in key areas of the pitch. Now they have learned those lessons, so over the period they have moved them on. So I mentioned in my preview players like Yassin Brahimi. They are not bad players, but they are time pass. They are time pass. So
Feguli is still coming here.
Feguli is still there.
Yeah, I wonder how much
they are still there. Mahrez, Slimani.
So Feguli is still there, but Feguli has changed to a box-to-box player.
Yes. More central now.
So you see, some of them who are there are those who have accepted their new roles, and they are doing as the coach wants.
Like the DIU.
You see, they are doing as. So some of them don't have legs, and so they are playing second half. And they are understanding that this is what I am doing.
Right.
Sweet capito.
Mahrez himself's role he's taking instruction from the coach. So he's not the same freewheeling Mahrez that you know from 6-5 years ago.
So where do you see Algeria finishing this time?
Round 16.
Oh, I think round of 16.
I don't think Algeria could go on anymore.
Yeah, they could
I agree. I think they'll
this
do
Algerian team.
I'm going to ask you guys quick fire questions. Who is winning the AFCON for you, Sitsofe?
I don't do that.
Bro.
No, it's just a wild take. Algeria for you, Daniel?
Ghana.
You said Cote d'Ivoire.
I said Cote d'Ivoire are my overwhelming favorites.
You said they would go and win it.
No. You said who will win.
Yes.
You didn't ask me who are the favorites.
No. Just moments
if
ago.
You go to a prophet and you say prophet, who is the best student in the class? You give me who the fact is that this is the best. Who will win? Who will top the exam? That's not the best student to top the exam.
You said Gary's part is what has given you the conviction that Cote d'Ivoire will win. You said that moments ago.
I said I feel. You are asking me already.
You
who will win the AFCON?
Fine, you can change up. Who will win?
I'm not changing my anything. I said Cote d'Ivoire favorite, Ghana will win.
Okay, Gary.
Charlie, I think Senegal.
I think Ghana will win. Thank you very much. That's our show for today. Thank you, Sitsofe. Thank you, Gary.
Go Ghana!
Charlie,
yes.
Shout outs. Viva Yogo guy.
Apieje.
Viva Yogo.
Oh yes.
He said do some new concoction, so we should taste it before the AFCON.
We'll
this
do
one
it.
has some
We'll do it.
prophetic, this one. So
We'll do it. Muftawu, who is winning the AFCON?
Ghana.
Thank you very much.
It be like
that's our show. My name is Fentuo.
Monkano.
My name is Fentuo Tahiru. Fentuo. It's been lovely coming your way. on Hits 103.9 FM and on Joy 99.7 FM. Game plan is back next Friday again, same time, 1 p.m. I'll be back here. Ghana play at 8 p.m. on Sunday. All the best to the Black Stars, and hopefully when we come back here, we'll be talking about 2 victories in a row because they would have played 2 games before we are back here. We're out for now.